And there's also a link to buy me a coffee and channel memberships in the description as well. So glad to have you here. Today's video is an Am I the Asshole video. I've just opened some up now, and yeah, some of them, reading them, I'm like, for sure, like I just read the title and I'm like, but sometimes you think the title, you're like, oh, they're the asshole for sure, but then when you read it, you're like, oh, there's more stuff going on than you would know about. So, am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend he crossed the line with my work-life balance? So, yeah, I for sure would say it straight up, like, you're not the asshole, but who knows? You have to read it and see what the people say. So, I'm the asshole for telling my boyfriend he crossed the line with my work-life balance. I, 28 female, work long, intense hours at a high-pressure job. And my boyfriend, 30 male, knows this. Recently, I finally set boundaries to stop taking work calls after 7 p.m. This helps me unwind and prioritize our time together, which he initially seemed to support. Last night, my boss called around 8:30 p.m., but I ignored it. My boyfriend asked why I didn't pick up, and I explained I didn't want work intruding on my evening. And to my shock, he picked up my phone and answered the call himself and saying I was too busy relaxing to talk. I was mortified. My boss sounded annoyed, and I had to spend 30 minutes on the call, only because he made it sound like I was slacking off. Afterwards, I was furious and told him it wasn't his place to interfere in my work like that. He thinks I'm overreacting and shouldn't be ashamed of setting boundaries. I'm the asshole. 16,000 upvotes. So actually, I think everyone kind of agrees with her. Says, wow, this is really inappropriate. He just undermined you and damaged your relationship with your boss. To me, it's creepy that he even answers his phone at all unless there was an emergency, much less when he knows it's your boss calling, not the asshole. Edit for all the men unable to understand. No, sorry, it wasn't saying men, it was saying men unable to understand. Yes, prior to cell phones, we all answered landlines for each other. The very obvious difference that those were almost always communal lines. Cell phones are not communal property in most cases unless you and your partner have agreed that you would like one another to answer each other's phones, and doing this can often be considered intrusive for both the person whose phone you answered and the caller who's not expecting to interact with you. If you are doing this in any way to screen your partner's calls or gain access to information you wouldn't otherwise have, then you are engaged in abusive behavior. Examine your motives carefully. I don't know if I give there from the other side. I think for sure he crossed a boundary, because also it's even confusing at the end. So like, you'd assume like she is setting like a reasonable after 7 p.m. I don't know if she works from home, if she's in an office or whatever, but it shouldn't seem to matter 7 p.m. especially unless she started like work in the middle of the day and like only worked for like 2 hours. It's reasonable to assume she starts work in the morning, she works all day, and 7 p.m. is like late for people to clock out. If you just clock out and don't really have to answer a work call unless it's an emergency, you wouldn't be getting calls at 8:30 p.m. That is unless you're doing evenings or nights and or emergency, unacceptable time. You'd assume if she set this boundary, she has communicated this to her boss, but either way, that's not really her boyfriend's priority. If anything, she's also doing this to spend quality time with her boyfriend without feeling that she's like being interrupted by work and can't give him her full attention, and just to switch off. Like, it's very important to be able to switch off, like having like times where you know it's completely your own. Like if it always feels like it can be intruded, and you know, and either way, like if she's having to work and answer work calls in the evening, it's not like she's getting extra time off in the morning. She's just expecting to work extra. Like, is she getting paid extra for these work calls, etc.? Like, I don't think so. So, dependent, it's not really about that. He shouldn't answer her phone, especially when she's trying to do this to spend more time with him. And like, that's like, sounds like he's undermining her. Too busy to talk, I guess. At first, that sounds like he's saying she's like slacking off. Kind of. So I guess the boyfriend's reasoning could be just that he wants to communicate that, I've said that I'm not answering work calls, but like that can get into a boundary where boss is like, okay, well, in the future, but then keeps doing it, because if you keep engaging in the behavior, they'll keep, going and going and going. So either way, the point is, I'm sure the woman has communicated to her boss, like, I will not be answering work calls after 7 p.m. Either way, it's not the boyfriend's problem. Am I the asshole for not telling my girlfriend that I have a famous ex? So I made this account just for this post. For obvious privacy reasons, all names are made up and I will keep it short. The only thing I don't get when people make like a throwaway account, but then they include such detail, like if the person actually did come across it, they probably know it's about this. But I guess maybe if they know their account, they won't know it's coming from this account. But like some of these posts get so many like upvotes that like if they were on the thread, they would kind of like know it's about them. But whatever. So the history: I have an ex-girlfriend named Carla, it's a fake name, who was famous today. We met in high school and were a couple the whole time. Her biggest dream was to be accepted to acting school, and she did it. While I was interested in technology, computers and such, I was accepted into a school that is far away from hers. We tried the long distance thing, but it did not work out. We ended on very friendly terms, as we both realized that it will never work. Back to now, I took my girlfriend Annabelle to a restaurant to celebrate our 1 year together, and suddenly she pointed quietly behind me. Look, this is Carla. I love her so much. Wonder if she would mind if I ask her for an autograph. I told her I don't think she would mind, as she's my ex, and I waved to her. Carla was quite happy to see me and came over. We hugged, and she asked if they could join at our table with their mother, who was her company. The whole time my girlfriend was speechless and stared with giant eyes. We talked and told her about the autograph, and she happily provided it. I thought this evening was great, but as soon as we left, I found that my girlfriend is furious with me. Why do you hide the fact that you were dating Carla? I told her, to be fair, we never listed our exes to each other. I was basically a teenager back then. I'm sorry, but also not sorry. In short, she told me that I'm an asshole for hiding this, and this is a lie of omission. I don't agree, as I never tried to hide anything from me. She was just another person. She was not even famous yet. She is famous today. I'm happy for her, but that is not my accomplishment, not something I go around and brag about, as I respect her privacy. Also, it's not like she listed her boyfriend and who does what. I don't care, to be honest. History should remain history. It says your girlfriend is angry you didn't name drop like a jerk. Question mark. If you told her, she'd probably say you were trying to make her jealous. Yikes, not the asshole in any way. I think her energy, even in the situation, is given jealousy, disbelief, anger. Someone here said we idolize things people too much. So true, we admire to the point of blinding ourselves to what's important. So I'm gonna go with not the asshole. The way he phrased it seemed like, he's like treating like celebrities or people like how they actually want to be treated. Perhaps if he was dating her when she was actually famous, you would mention it, or like she would know because the pictures on social media, etc. And there would be stuff about him, etc. But like it was before she was famous, it was the past. Celebrities are just like regular people in the end, and that's kind of like how they like to be treated as such, kind of, in some scenarios. So it must be annoying when everyone like takes pictures of you and like stalks you and knows everything about your life. So, and it seems like they ended on good terms and all of that, and like it's just seeming like he's treating her as a regular woman, past ex, which is good. I think the girlfriend is probably just jealous and feels like she's being compared to her, which the ex he didn't do in like any way, and like the ex wasn't trying to get her back. It was giving the autograph, everything like that. So it seems she's probably just kind of feels like she can't compare to her or something like that, which is her own thing. Which so I'm the asshole for storming out of my fiance's place, and I refused to answer his phone calls because he took my pain medication from me along with all the other painkillers in my apartment. So we have a tendency to say not the asshole, therefore we'll see what actually happened. This is actually kind of similar because this might happen to me soon, who knows. So one night I woke up in extreme tooth pain. Luckily my fiance has plenty of prescription painkillers. Later I went to the dentist. I got all my wisdom teeth pulled. Unfortunately, the healing process was equally painful for the last 5 to 6 days. I've been in hell. I hope that doesn't happen to me. Oh my god. I started taking pain pills every time the pills wore off rather than every 6 hours as needed, which is around 1 to 2 hours. Oh, slippery slope. Once my fiance realized how often I was taking the pills, he took my medication and gathered up all the prescription painkillers he had, locking them in his safe. He told me he was working from home for the next few days so he can administer the meds as prescribed. I exploded to tell him he doesn't get to control what I do or manage my health care, that I was in extreme pain. Then he blamed me for my own pain, since he's been telling me to get my wisdom teeth removed for months, ever since the first time they caused me pain. I screamed at him it's really his fault because of his refusal to stand up to his mom. They had to be around constantly with the wedding planner, otherwise she'd take full control of our wedding. All he did was brush that off as unrelated. After that, I stormed out of the apartment, staying with one of my sisters. Who knew always has painkillers for the last couple of days. Not once have I answered his calls. Now my pain has gone down, I begin to wonder if I was being an oversensitive asshole. I need to swallow my pride to apologize. It's a difficult one, yeah, so you're the asshole and could have easily overdosed. Taking prescription painkillers at more than triple the recommended rate. If you were in that much pain, you should have gone to the hospital or back to your dentist for a stronger prescription. I don't mean stronger as in they'll tell you to take more. I mean stronger as in upgrading your painkillers from Tylenol to Norco or Norco to Diolide or something. They prescribed it at 6 hours for a reason. You may have caused serious permanent damage to your body by taking those pills that often, and you should 100% go to a hospital right now to be checked. Not to mention severe pain like that is not normal and should be checked out. Go to a hospital, tell them what you did, what you took, including your fiance's and your sister's medication, whatever they were, because there could be interactions you don't even know about, and get proper treatment. You could have permanent damage to your liver, your heart, and cause no one else from abusing prescription medications. But yes, it's exactly what you did. OP, you seriously endangered your own life here. Your fiance was trying to keep you safe, keep you from killing yourself. Please go to a hospital and get medical care for what you've already taken before it's too late, and apologize to your fiance. Someone says this definitely does sound like a dry socket. Painkillers never seem to be enough. OP needs to go back to the dentist. You are absolutely right. Yeah, I guess kind of pain is a way for your body, like, to tell you something is wrong, or it's just how it works. Like, you kind of know something is happening by like feeling pain, and like then you're like, I should get this checked out. Like something isn't right. You shouldn't just like painkillers are kind of like a way to like bear with the pain, but like you have to take them as prescribed. And if it's like very severe like that, you should like take matters into your own hands. People have problems with addiction to painkillers, like, and you know, it can like really damage your body, as I was saying, interactions, all of this. So I guess if he couldn't like trust you to do that, like you could cause serious harm, and you are meant to take them as intended. At first I was inclined to side with her, but after reading that comment, like it is like actually quite serious. And yeah. So let's get on to the next one. Oh yeah, the thing is that they should have gone back to the dentist and like described the problem, and just taking the time out from the day, you know, to do that. And that's really important, your health, you know, etc. And even though it can be hard to get a dentist appointment, etc., if there's an emergency, or like you just call them and kind of describe what's going on, and then they'll try to fit you in sooner, you know. So WIBTA, if I tell my friend that she needs to be less clingy and learn to be more independent. So this is coming from some younger people, so 16 male, so I'm 16 male, and my two best friends are my twin sister, who is 16 female, who I'll call Katie, and our 16 female friend, who I'll call Montana. Don't get me wrong, Montana's a sweetheart, but she's getting incredibly clingy towards me and Katie, and I'm worried about her. What's playing my mind is a party we're going to this weekend. It's one of our friends' 18th birthday parties, and Katie and I have both been looking forward to it for weeks. Most of our friends are attending, and we haven't seen a few of them partying with them all. However, the host of the party messaged Katie last night asking if we were planning to burn in Montana. To which I replied, no, so he went and invited her, and now she's coming to the party. Normally I'd be more than okay with this, except for the fact that Montana will only know a few people at the party, and that she isn't good with large groups of people. She said she was not enthused about it. There being a lot of people there, so Katie kindly asked her how she planned to cope with that. Montana responded that she would just stick with us two. I was already planning to hang out with my other friends since I spent much less time with them than I do with her. I also have very different friendship dynamics with them. I'm just worried that she's going to cling to either Katie or me the entire time due to her being socially awkward, which she already does regularly. I know if she does that, I'm well in my right to ask her to give me some space while I'm with other friends, but at the same time, I'm also afraid of her feeling like I'm abandoning her and getting upset, which has happened before. An example of this is last year's New Year's Eve celebrations. Katie and I were planning to hang out with Montana, just the three of us, but she cancelled a few days before, so Katie and I made plans with other people. Then Montana was suddenly able to come along at the last minute, so she came along with us and the group we made plans with. The group wanted to hang out at one of our friends' houses. She stayed behind because she was getting overwhelmed with the whole situation. Montana then got quite upset that we weren't spending time with her, which I understand. I get that she wants to spend time with the two of us, but I also wish she was able to accept that she's not the only person we spend time with and that we won't drop plans with other friends just for her. I just really want her to be happy, but I also want a social life with other people, which makes me wonder if I would be the asshole if I expressed how I feel to her. So would I be the asshole if I were to tell her that she needs to be less clingy, learn to be less clingy and more independent? I'm also really sorry if my English is not the best, so maybe they're not from an English speaking country as a first language. Yeah, I think I agree. So I'm saying you're not the asshole for wanting to talk to her about being less clingy, but it's all about how you approach it. Instead of saying she needs to change, try expressing your feelings about wanting some space and encourage her to find other friends or activities she enjoys. Explain to her calmly it's important to be kind and supportive while also setting your boundaries. Yes, yeah, I kind of agree. People are saying not the asshole, there's a few different sides, but yeah, I think you can express to her that you don't say like you need to be less clingy, like just say that you and your sister, or like don't speak for your sister, or you can both talk to her together and enjoy spending time with her, really value her as a friend, see her as your best friend or one of your really good friends, etc. But that you don't want to only exclusively be friends with her, you enjoy spending time with your other friends. I can make more of an effort to include you in my friendships with my other friends, as long as like you don't, expect like me and Katie to break away from them to only spend time with you at like a group event. We can of course hang out, just us sometimes, but I would like to be able to hang out with my other friends, whether or not you want to be a part of that. Encourage her to make other friends herself, etc. Not that you don't want her at your party, but like she was saying, she feels like overwhelmed in groups, etc. So it could just be that like the party and scene is not her scene, so she could find friends that like doing things that she likes to do, like perhaps like an intimate book club, or that sounds very old, but like I don't know, like some like a sports thing, like a run club. I really don't know. Something like maybe that's like a sport game club. Honestly, I don't know, but something that's not focused on being like in really big groups or something like that, like more intimate. WIPTA, if I charge for a cover-up of a nasty tattoo I did. I'm 1 year into tattooing. This is the first cover-up I do of a tattoo that I did. I tattooed a saying in Arabic on a girl's back a few weeks ago. We both thought it translated to appreciate life because the translation was right under the words in Arabic. In the photo she sent me, she texted me a few days ago saying that she wants me to delete the pic of her tattoo off my page because it actually translates to something awful. I was so shocked I ran the pic through, translated it to myself like 5 times, and the tattoo did in fact mean something gross. I guess you do check what client's tattoo tattoos mean beforehand when they are in a foreign language, but I did not check this one because the translation came up with the reference pic. I quickly deleted the post and told her that I'm happy to work on a cover up together if she's down for it. She was, and I finished the design today. She likes it and we are going to do it. The thing is, I feel really guilty about this whole thing because it never happened to me before. I feel really sorry that I put that on somebody's body, and I'm very happy to cover it, but I feel so ashamed of charging her for this cover up because I somehow feel like it's my fault. I, as the artist, should have checked the translation. I'm afraid that there's a possibility that she thought the cover up was free, so when I tell her the price, she'll blame me for the tattoo and end up on bad terms. It was her first tattoo and we have a common friend, so she may think that I offered my cover up services as an apology. To be honest, I don't even know if I did anything wrong. Maybe I'm overthinking. I'm so conflicted, I don't know what to do. On one side I do feel for her and I want to help her. On the other side, this is a complex tattoo that I don't really afford to give out for free. She's my friend, I would totally do it for free, but she's a girlfriend's friend, so I don't even know what her status is to be able to give out my resources like that. Would I be the asshole if I charged her for this cover up? If I do, I will cut it down a lot though. To be more specific, I did not make the right design myself. I just copied the pictures she sent me. Pictures sent me how to design and appreciate life under it as a translation. I'm calling the tattoo nasty because it is. It actually translates to I'm rotten. After further research, I found the pic she sent me circulated on Tumblr a few years ago as a meme. We obviously were not aware of that. It's just words on a white background. Ooh. It's a tough one. Yeah, some people are saying you're not the asshole. Yeah, there's mixed reviews here. One person is saying, like, you're the one who suggested the cover up, so maybe she thought she was getting it for free. Like, maybe she just wanted it removed, like laser removal, which would not be really. I think that's a completely separate service. So she would go to someone else, and that would be quite expensive and a long process. The cover up would probably be like easier. I'm not sure though. Because I think even for a small tattoo, I think the cover up is like you have to, not the cover up, but like the removal is like multiple sessions, and you have to do it. Yeah, so the tattoo is permanent. And maybe you should have said something more clarifying, like I'm so sorry, I'm happy to cover it up as a discount cost as I feel bad, but like don't like try to shift like all the blame on yourself, because maybe that will like encourage her to believe that it's your fault. Perhaps, and so what someone else said is a good idea as well, like if you check, say to the client, like it's your responsibility to check any translations, like do like your background work, like maybe reach out to people on the internet that are like speak this language. I don't know exactly person that speaks it, or a friend or someone who would tell you if it means what you think it means, because Google Translate whatever can be wrong, but that it's the client's responsibility, not your responsibility. You know, you're busy as a artist and doing whatever else, and you don't want to like take responsibility if there's a mistake with that. So you're not responsible for someone else's decisions or lack of investigation. However, as you usually check translations, you know it's better to check for yourself than end up in this situation. You'll feel better if you help her, even if ultimately the blame for this mistakes lies with the client. Charge her, give her a heavy discount, and let both of you learn from this mistake. So maybe I'll clarify, like it's not your responsibility to check thoroughly yourself, but also, like you say, like it's not my responsibility if this is not what is said to me. It was a meme, so like it circulated for people, like was making fun of that. I'm rotten. Life is beautiful. Appreciate life, and then I'm rotten. So like, I don't know, like think that there's only certain people would understand that. Like they would understand the English, but they wouldn't understand that's not really what it meant. So am I the asshole for telling a wheelchair-bound lady her service dogs should not be at the playground? So throw away. People are making me feel like I'm nuts here, and I can't believe this is real. Last Friday, my wife and I took our 2 kids under grassy area unleashed. My wife and I are like, the dogs shouldn't be here unleashed, but our little guy was excited to be at the playground, so we continued. We let our boy run around, and the younger one we put in the swing. So parents that were there started talking to us. They're essentially one big neighborhood parent group and meet up weekly. I didn't know anyone in this group. My son climbed a structure and went down a slide. Once he was off the slide, there were no kids on that structure. A lady that had 2 dogs there, I still don't know if she was a parent, let the dogs onto the playground structure and let them go down the slide. I spoke to this lady and told her to keep her dogs off the equipment. She told me they were her service dogs. I said, I don't think service dogs play on playground equipment. She said back to me, service dogs are allowed to take breaks. She continued saying that we are here every week and no one has ever complained. I said not everyone is comfortable around dogs. Still, I think it's selfish to let your dogs on the equipment, especially when children are around. Some parents support her and said as much to my wife and I. She told me that I should make sure my kids are comfortable around dogs before bringing them around dogs. I told this lady that she was insane and completely missed my point. My wife and I left after this. We noticed a Facebook post about us, though we've not engaged, and it seems it's 50-50 as on if we are the assholes or not. Yeah, someone's saying not the assholes. Service dogs are allowed to go where untrained dogs are not allowed to go because they are trained to help their owner and not be disruptive. Allowing the dogs just run around, even on children's playground equipment, is irresponsible. They're not aiding the owner in that case, and they are just being disruptive. She's the type of person who gives service dog owners a bad name and make it harder for people to actually use service dogs. Yeah, that is a tough one. Yeah, I guess the other thing is that some people say their dogs are service dogs when they're not really service dogs or aren't fully trained to be service dogs because they know that service dogs are allowed places that other dogs aren't. So they want to bring their dogs places, so they call them service dogs, but they're not service dogs because you people don't usually question that. It's a difficult one for sure. So am I the asshole for having a go at my boyfriend when he ate the last of my food while I was in the bathroom? My boyfriend, 24 male, and I, 24 female, went to a restaurant for only our second time eating out together. So a new relationship. This week has been really rough at work and I asked to go out for food, saying I need to pick me up. I mentioned I wasn't super hungry since I had already eaten, but I was really looking forward to having some dumplings and soup. I've been talking about how excited I was for the dumplings during the drive there. We ordered, I made it clear that I only wanted 4 dumplings and some soup. My boyfriend ordered 2 large mains for himself since he has a bigger appetite. When the food arrived, I shared my soup with him and tasted a bite of his food, but I was mostly focused on my dumplings. My dumplings came. I ate one before I decided to run to the bathroom. When I got back, he had eaten both of the remaining dumplings. I was really sad because I had been looking forward to them and only got to eat one. I told him how disappointed I was and called him selfish, saying he never thinks of me. I asked him to pay for how much he ate, so I specifically wanted those dumplings. I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but I feel like he should have asked before just taking them, especially since I expressed how excited I was. And the asshole for getting upset and calling me out for being selfish and asking him to pay more. Not the asshole, but fighting over food is never a problem in these situations. Sorry for making an assumption, but I don't think it's the food that anchored, but a reoccurring pattern from him. Why didn't you guys have a long conversation? When it's a big problem that couples refuse to talk about, they will fight about smaller things to release the steam, but also making up after it is easier. If there's a bigger problem in a relationship, smaller fights will occur more often. Yeah, people say they don't respect you or care for you. Yeah, I guess it's a difficult one. A solution, which wouldn't really address the problem, I guess, is to just order a few more dumplings. I mean, I guess you're expecting him to pay for them with that, but I don't know who's going to pay anyway, who's going to be half and half. Also, I don't think it's fair to go half and half on a meal when one person has ordered significantly more food, etc. Like, especially this happened in like Friends, where they were going out for a meal for Monica's birthday, or no, I think it was to promote. It was her birthday, or it was a big promotion. I can't remember. The 3 wealthier friends, Monica, Chandler, and Ross, ordered more food, while Phoebe, Joey, and Rachel were pretending they weren't hungry, were eating bread, soup, salad, or something like that, and then they wanted to split it 6 ways. And when they started to object, they're like, oh no, 5 ways. So that so that like I wouldn't be included. But then they finally snapped and said like, oh, we didn't eat anything, like because we're not as wealthy as you and we can't like afford that, you know. But like they just have to have a talk with that in that kind of scenario. That's why it's kind of handy to just like pay you for your own food, or maybe do have if you've ate like the same amount of food, like exactly the same price, or you know, like one person pays for one meal, one person pays the next meal, if it's like equal, you know, in a relationship kind of thing. Not if one person is like eating dramatically more on their goes, etc. It's like that. My roommate once said that like it was kind of like they were doing rounds, because couples tend to do rounds of this, but on like he was ordering more expensive drinks, so her rounds, like she was paying more than she had to. Like she wanted a beer, and he was ordering like something more fancy, like a whiskey or a cocktail, I don't know, and it was getting expensive. So that's why I think rounds are kind of annoying, because as well, like with drinks, if there's like say 4 people, I'm committing to drinking 4 drinks, and I have to get my round. You can't just duck out on your round. But like I wasn't gonna have 4 drinks anyway. I might have just had 1 or 2, you know, and it could be like different drinks, like more expensive, whatever. I don't know. Either way, he had 2 main meals and you had a soup and like dumpling. Maybe it's because you you know, mentioned that you weren't hungry, but like I feel in any case I wouldn't. I would for sure ask if I wanted someone else's food or to taste it, and I would offer my food as well, and it would be equal and all of that, and I would only eat more of their food if they for sure